about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jim here at Tutor to You, welcoming you to our 9th AQA A-Level Sociology live revision blast. That's quite something, isn't it? Duncan and Craig with us again today. 9 live sessions. And I've just been doing the maths. The next one will be our 10th.
So impressive numeracy skills there, Jim.
Yeah, thank you. I was just looking at lots of people coming into the live chat. I was just looking at the YouTube stats just on the screen here, and we're almost up to 20,000 students joining us, either for the live sessions, like now, but also for the replays, where you can watch the video in replay and also download the slides. So maybe we ought to say, for those of you who are watching on replay, good morning or good evening. But great to see. So, Craig, Duncan, we've got another session on crime and deviance today. How does this compare with the first one we did?
Okay, so we're looking at some different aspects of crime this time from last time. We focused mainly on the sort of theory last time. This time we're looking more at patterns of crime, why certain groups in society commit more crime than others, or if they do, and also a bit of a focus on contemporary crime in society today. So some different aspects of the topic, really, because it's a big one. So, so we've got plenty of activities to engage with today. If you're watching live, you can write answers into the chat window to the right of the screen. If it's multiple choice, just put in A, B, C, or D. If there's more to do, we'll explain when we get there. If you're watching on catch up, please don't phone in.
Well, you can if you want.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. But you could always, if you are watching on catch up, you can pause the pause the
yeah, good
video
point.
and give yourself a bit more time and things like that. Okay. Oh, and Louise has got an exam on crime on Friday, so please explain things simply. Okay, we'll do our best. We'll do our best.
Got the best people
Okay,
to do that, Louise.
Should we get cracking?
Let's
We are
go
simple.
for it. Okay.
Okay, so I'm starting this time with a bubble quiz. So the thing with a bubble quiz is that there may be no correct answers. There may be one correct answer. There could be 2, 3, or even all 4 could be correct answers. So you'll look at the question, and you're not just trying to find one answer. There may be no correct answers. There could be 4 or anywhere in between. So let's have a look at the first one. So which of these theories could explain high levels of working class criminality? We've got strain theory from Merton, focal concerns from Miller, illegitimate opportunity structures, Cloward and Olin, and status frustration from Cohen. It's a Michael Bublé quiz, yes, absolutely. Shall we? What have we got? Which ones do you think? Emily's gone for all of them, and Shannon's gone for all of them. A couple of people picking out some specific ones from in there. It's possible that not everyone will know all 4 studies, and that's fine. If you're not sure about one of the studies, you can pop in the chat window if you like which one. I think most people are going for all. We have had a few variations. Shall we have a look? It is all, so well done. Yeah, all of those could help explain high levels of working class criminality. 3 of those are kind of functionalist subcultural theories, and then Merton functionalist, but not subcultural. And yeah, so if you're possibly got some questions on this in a forthcoming exam, do have a look at these. Yeah, sorry, Craig.
I was going to say, I think the one that sort of people might not know is the focal concerns and Miller. That one tends to be. It's not in all of the textbooks.
No, it's not in every textbook, is it? So it's
I think we did a video on it because I think it's quite useful. There's a really nice link between focal concerns and the underclass and the development of kind of new right thinking. So, but it's one. So there's a few people who put A, C, and D. So I could understand why they would put A, C, and D if they've not done.
Yeah. Miller's not in every textbook, is it? Okay. Shall we have a look at the next one? Okay. So, which of these theories could explain low levels of female criminality? So we've got strain theory, Merton. Got liberation thesis, Adler. Got broken windows theory. We've got deviancy amplification. So what do you think? Could any of these, or could all of these, could some of these explain low levels of female criminality? Okay, so Grace has suggested B. Tom suggested B. Oh, a few people come in with B. What do you know about Adler's liberation thesis? What's the key idea? We've had an A and a D, and mostly Bs. Okay, it's an interesting one. Shall we have a look at what my answer is, and then if you disagree, you can we can debate it furiously in the chat window. However, none of these are correct. So if you think about Adler's liberation thesis, it's the idea that because women have more freedom in society today, they now are more likely to commit crimes. As an explanation for why female crime rates have been increasing, rather than an explanation for low levels of female criminality. I mean, I suppose you could kind of reverse it. You could look at it the other way and explain historic low levels of female criminality. Okay,
it's certainly one that is used to explain the rise in female criminality, and it kind of goes quite well nicely alongside Heidenson's research as well, because Heidenson's sort of like saying women are more controlled, and therefore they have low levels of criminality, whereas Adler's saying women are gaining freedom, so therefore they are more likely to be criminal.
Absolutely, yeah. And a couple of people mentioned about chivalry thesis. I didn't include that one. It would have been, I nearly did, because it's an interesting one, because it doesn't explain low levels of female criminality. It explains low levels of underrepresentation of women in the statistics. So I nearly included it so we could have that debate as well, but I decided that one would be too much of a trick question, so I left that one out. Okay, shall we have a look at the next one? Which of these statistics about the 2011 London riots are true? Now, don't worry if you don't know. Yeah, you may or may not have used the London riots as a kind of case study. But if we have a look at these statistics, I suppose you can work out which ones do you think might be true. If you don't, some of them you may know. 35% of adults arrested after the riots were benefits claimants. 90% of the rioters were male. 66% of the under 18s who were arrested had special educational needs, and just under 50% of the rioters were black. So which of those do you think are true? You may know some of them are true if you've looked in detail of this one, at this one. So we've had A and D, we've had B, a couple of Bs, B and C. So I think between you, we suggest someone's gone for all of them, even though everyone's going for one or two. Had a D, we've had a B and an A, B and a C. Shall we have a look? It is all of them again. Yeah. All of those are true statistics, or if we can say true statistics, we can have a debate about the reliability of statistics another time if we're doing research methods again. But all of those are what the statistics suggest about those 2011 London riots. Okay, I think we've got one more bubble quiz question. So which of these are criticisms of social and cultural crime prevention, or social and cultural crime prevention strategies? Okay, they don't address white collar or corporate crime. They're too harsh on minor infringements. Don't tackle structural inequality. And the Troubled Families Programme, which, if you're not aware of that, was something that was brought in by David Cameron during the coalition government, had very little impact. What do we think? Emily's gone for A and C. Anyone else want to suggest something? Grace has gone for A and C as well. Harissa, A and C. We've also had, someone else gone for all of them. We've also had an A and D, A, C, A and D. Okay, lots have gone for A and C, and a couple have gone for D as well, and you'd be right with that. Not many of you gone for B. Some of the other crime prevention methods, we do discuss whether they might be too harsh on minor infringements. Things like sort of zero tolerance type approaches means that someone could end up getting if there were like sort of 3 strikes and you're out policies in New York at one time, and you ended up with people getting prison sentences for very minor infringements because they'd committed more than one of them. But social and cultural crime prevention is more of a sort of that kind of left realist kind of approach. But it does tend to focus on the crimes of the less well off, doesn't address white collar or corporate crime, doesn't, from a Marxist perspective, tackle the structural inequality in society. It doesn't deal with the causes of crime, if you like. And the Troubled Families Programme, although the government did suggest it being quite effective, it was later sort of revealed that there were later suggestions, reports that it probably had very minimal impact on crime levels overall. Okay, I'm going to pass over to Craig now for a connection wall.
That was the point I was just about to make, Duncan. The Troubled Families over-reported their success rates, didn't they? Which shows that we cannot rely upon statistics. Even going back to the question before, the statistics that are there, well, we've got to think about sort of like how the riots were policed and who they targeted afterwards. So there are a couple of different things you've got to consider when you're writing those.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
so we've got our groups of phases. We are going to stick with the topic of social distribution of crime. What I would like you to do here is identify 4 categories in here that explain differences in criminality, reasons why there are different rates of criminality within these. So different groups we're thinking about in these theories. You've got 16 theories on the screen. We have to organize them into 4 groups of 4. There are 4 categories here. What might the 4 categories be, first of all? So we can see some of those theories there. Strain theory, bodily capital, decline of traditional industries, gender socialization, could be a hint at one category. Relative deprivation, hegemonic masculinity, liberation thesis, the class and gender deals could be another one. I see Emily's already starting with our gender. Labeling theory, criminogenic capital, institutional race and control theory, marginalization, inadequate socialization, net-wide and symbolic resistances. So we are seeing functionalist, left-realist, interactionist, and Marxist. No, it's not that one. Emily's got one of the categories with gender. That might give you a hint as to the other categories.
Yeah, so we're not looking for groups of by theory here. It's groups by kind of category, social characteristics as well.
Yeah, in fact, gender covers 2 of those, and I'll explain why in a minute.
Yeah,
covers 2 of those. So think about the other 2 groups, but it is by social group. So what other social groups might we have?
One of my early bubble quiz questions might help with give an idea for one of them.
Social class. And our last one, I can see Shannon's gone left realism, right realism. I can see why you might think those. There's quite a few left and right realist ideas in there. What might be the other category?
So we've got class, we've got gender.
Class. What is the other one that we focus on? It's not age.
Could have been, but not this time.
Yes, ethnicity, social class, and gender. There we go. So we've got our 4 categories. What I will tell you is the gender category is split into reasons for male criminality and reasons for female criminality. So first of all, we will look at social class. So which of those 4 reasons might be reasons for social class criminality? Which of those 16 might we see as being a reason for social class criminality? Particularly working class, sorry.
Yeah, for why working class people are perhaps overrepresented in the statistics. Yeah. Is that probably a good way of putting it?
That is the perfect way to put it, Duncan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Darcy, yes, it is. Criminogenic capitalism is one of those.
Labeling theory. Could be.
Strain. Marginalization, labeling. Okay, quite a few going for marginalization. Marginalization tends to be linked more into another group. Relative deprivation is a good one. We've got strain. I think we have our 4 there across those. Can we reveal the first 4, please, Jim? There you go. Strain theory, relative deprivation, criminogenic capitalism, inadequate socialization. Obviously, that links into Charles Murray's idea that the underclass have inadequate socialization of young males, which leads to the generation of a class of idle young men who are criminal. So we'll move on to our second one. And the second one, I'm just make sure I get my genders right here, is male criminal. Reasons for male criminality.
Darcy asked how come not labeling theory? It could have been labeling theory. Could have explained that, but it could also relate to one of the other categories as well. Yeah, so
it could do. Yeah. So any reasons for male or female criminality? Let's look at them. Let's try and do the 2 at the same time. So any reasons there for male criminality? Any reasons there for female criminality? We've got hegemonic masculinity is a good one for male criminality. Any others? Decline of traditional industries, yep, 2. And something else that's linked into that decline of traditional industries, maybe a concept is a little bit postmodern. Liberation thesis, would we go with male or female for that, do you think? Male gender socialization, hegemonic masculinity, yes, there's 2 of those. Class and gender deals, would that be male or female crime? Liberation thesis again. Net-wide.
Remember with the female crime here, it could be talking about both explanations for criminality, but also for why they don't commit crimes.
Increase or decrease. Underrepresentation, but also rise in criminality.
Yeah.
So female for liberation thesis, it's a good one. Net widening. Again, if you could mention whether it's male or female crime, that'd be good. Consumerist consumption. That's not on there, but that is a good. Can be one seen as one reason, particularly link it into the Marxist ideas of crime and deviance. Bodily capital for males. Okay, so let's see our next one. Let's see our next thinking. There you go. Reasons why men are overrepresented in crime statistics. Yes, bodily capital and the decline of traditional industries both kind of linked to the ideas of Winlow, and sort of like how males are now sort of like using their bodies as a form of capital when he looked at bouncers in the northeast of England, and that also linked into the decline of traditional industries. Masculinity was now being represented through being physical rather than through having a job, and of course gender socialization, males being socialized into being more aggressive, and toxic masculinity and hegemonic masculinity, which is Messerschmitt and Connell, and those ideas there are female ones. We've had a few there. Some people have mentioned liberation thesis, the class and gender deals, net widening, and control theory have all come up on there as well. So we can reveal our next one. There you go. So liberation thesis, class and gender deals, control theory, net widening. The reason why I split them into male and female criminality is a few years ago, sort of like on the exam, they did ask about female criminality specifically. They didn't ask about reasons for differences in gender. They asked for reasons of the relationship between females and criminality. So you had to focus more on that. So things like hegemonic masculinity and bodily capital wouldn't have been credited on that paper. Net widening, Grace, is when the police open up who they profile as criminals and what they've started to do. Whereas in the past, they would focus mainly on males being criminals. Now they will see women as being more criminal as well. So they're more likely to arrest females and suspect females of crimes. And our last one, if we just reveal that, because I think most people have got little bits in there, is the reason for the overrepresentation, particularly of Black Caribbean and African and Black African groups in crime statistics, and some Asian groups as well. In crime statistics. The one you might not get there is symbolic resistance. This is part of kind of Gilroy's ideas. And the idea that it's linked into colonial oppression is why sort of like people will rebel, particularly looking at the crisis of hegemony. So the crisis of hegemony in the 1970s. Okay, thank you, Duncan.
Okay. Now I'm sure that was very exciting as the the fish swam in with the bubbly sound there. We have doubled up. We've twinned with Pixar to bring you this wonderful animation. So we've got a round here called Red Herring. What you're going to see are 4 things. 3 of them have something in common. 3 of the fish have something in common. You've got to try and work out what the link is and work out which is the odd one out. So there's quite a bit to do here. Quite tricky. So when you're typing into the chat window which one you think the odd one out is, A, B, C, or D, also do type in what you think the connection is with the others. Okay, so we've got chivalry thesis, sex role theory, control theory from Haydn's own, because there's a few different versions of control theory, and marginalization theory. So what do we think the link is, and what do we think the odd one out is? So I've had a suggestion for marginalization theory as a possible odd one out. What else? So a few people going for D, giving a reason for it to do with suggesting that the others link to gender. Okay.
I think a lot of people are seeing marginalization as being part of the left realist approach there.
Yes, and I can see that obviously it does come into there as well, but marginalization theory is often, just to help here and make you think another way, is often presented as an explanation for gender differences, and particularly for why women don't commit crime, alongside control theory. So those two are quite closely related. So maybe looking for something, maybe looking for one of the others here. Incidentally, I'm really impressed with the way. I was just going to say, I'm really impressed with the way people help each other in the chat window on here. It's really nice when people ask questions and other people come in with an answer. It's great. Okay, no one's got it.
I was going to say, you might want to think about sort of like, oh, we've done that. I was going to say, you might want to think about sort of like the difference between levels of criminality and statistics.
Yeah. So they were all explanations for low levels of female criminality. Chivalry thesis doesn't explain low levels of female criminality. It suggests that women do commit as many crimes, they just get away with it, or they're not caught for it. And so it's an explanation for underrepresentation in the statistics rather than low levels of criminality. So that was what was going on with there. What is the chivalry thesis? A very old, outdated theory, Louise, but it does still crop up in the textbooks, etc. It's the idea that because a lot of people who work in the criminal justice system are men, they will essentially be chivalrous and gentlemanly and not suspect women of doing such awful things as committing crimes, or they'll let them off or go easy on them. Okay, next one. So we've got young people, the unemployed, people with a significant disability, and people who live in rural areas. Oh, we got a good joke in the chat window. Females getting let off the hook on the fishing round. Yeah.
If I hadn't seen sort of like who'd written it, I would have assumed that was from Tutor to You. That joke, I would have assumed it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's good. We're getting a level of humour now. We've found our level after after 9 lessons.
Okay, we've had suggestions of A and B. Maybe you might want to think. I've taken the bait. You might want to think about what the connection is. So Shannon's gone for C, and the thing that people are most likely to commit crime by groups. He's gone for A. Why A? I don't know. Do you think people with significant disabilities are most likely to commit crime? Young people, all the rest have links to being marginalised. Okay, I can see that. Can we sort of link it more to crime?
Typifications. It's interesting. Yeah.
Geography on at half fine. But yeah, with it, yeah. But okay, shall we have a look? It is C. The others are the people who are most statistically most likely to be victims of crime. And if I'd put urban areas, that would have been in there. Oh, did someone get it? Yes, to do with cause people being victims of crime. Well done, Louise. Yeah, very good. Okay, so that was the reason. Okay, next one. We've got restorative justice, rehabilitation, deterrence, and incapacitation. What do you reckon? Any ideas? What do you think the link could be? They're all to do with punishment, aren't they? Can we think how one might not necessarily link with the others? These are quite tricky, aren't they, these red herrings, I think. Jessica's gone for D. We got a reason. Give you a couple of seconds, but we have got quite a lot to get through. It is to do with criminal justice system. It is to do with punishment. Emily's gone for A. Why have you gone for A? So we've got D. The others to do with preventing crime. So I think we've got the reason, but not necessarily the right one. Let's have a look. Okay. There's A. The other way, they're all types of punishment, but the others are focusing on ways in which punishment can prevent crime, whereas restorative justice is getting compensation for crime or restoration for crime, whereas the others are all about preventing crime in one way or another. Okay. Have we got one last red herring? Okay, I bet you get this one quickly now. Deforestation, animal cruelty, pollution, and poachers killing wildlife rangers. I think one stands out as being the odd one out. I suppose the trick is the reason why, I guess. I think you'll get which one's the odd one out quite quickly. So, yeah, it's to do with green crime, and it is D. So a few people have got D. Can we think which what the very specific difference is, because you could argue that they're all green crimes, but poachers killing wildlife rangers is a different type of green crime, maybe. Yeah. The others are all directly against the environment in some way. Yes, well done. Primary and secondary green crime. Well done. Obviously, it's also just a crime as well as being a secondary green crime. Okay, well done. I'm going to head back to Craig now for a big reveal.
Okay, thank you, Duncan. With the big reveal, what we do is we reveal one clue at a time that will link into a topic area. That clue could be a piece of research, it could be an idea, or it could be a concept, could be a type of crime, as it is in the first one. So our first clue is corporate crime. What could be what could be our topic area here? We've got corporate crime. Bit of a tough one. Let's see our second one. Green crime. What topic area might we be in here? Marxism is a good guess, but it's not right though. Social class could be a good guess, but it's not right. Our third clue. Lots of people going with Marxism. Organized crime. Types of crimes, state crimes.
Oh, I might have seen
globalization, class power and crime. Let's look at our fourth clue. Cybercrime. That might solidify a couple of people's ideas that are coming through. Types of crime. They are all types of crime, Louise. But what kind of topic area might they come under? Grace has gone with state crime. Let's look at our fifth clue. State crime. Kind of rules that one out. And there we go. Everybody's coming through with the right answer now. That is correct. It is globalization. Types of crimes that are increased by globalization. Can we have our next big reveal, please, Jim? So Cohen. I should be.
Are we going to reveal which?
Stan Cohen.
Are we going to reveal which Cohen? Oh yeah, Stan Cohen. Okay.
It's Stan Cohen. I realized that there is about 4 or 5 Cohens across the spec. Yeah.
And
Stan
particularly
Cohen.
2 we think about in crime, aren't they? Ooh.
Certainly, yeah. Matza and Sykes. Can we think about Matza and Sykes? Matza comes into crime a couple of times. Yeah, Cohen is Folk Devils, but it's not that one. There are a lot of Cohens, yeah. The media and crime, Kramer and Michalowski.
Ooh.
I shall give you a little bit of a clue. Somebody mentioned it in the last one.
Yeah. Just gonna say a couple of people are saying status frustration. That's the other Cohen. That's a Cohen, not Stan.
That's
Cohen.
Albert Cohen.
Yeah.
But we've got to find a theme for these. Let's have our fourth clue. McLaughlin.
Don't worry if you've not heard of everyone. Don't worry. We all learn different names. You've heard of some of them, I'm sure.
Yeah. I did try to pick up the common ones associated with this. It's a type of crime we're looking for here, and the Schwendinger and Schwendinger, state corporate crime. Very close, very, very close. I think I might just award that because it's the closest
I think
we've got so far. It was state crime and human rights. So these are all researchers that have been involved in the study of state crime and human rights crimes on the specification. Let's move on to our third big reveal. So our third reveal, Merton. Okay, so we've got Robert Merton. I'm waiting for lots of people to come in. What is the topic area here? If we're talking about Robert Merton. Interactionism? Nope. Afraid not. Social class and crime? Good guess. Snyder? Lauren Schneider? Functionalist view of crime? No, it's not, because Snyder was a Marxist. He's a Marxist. Strain theory? Yeah, that is linked to Merton, but what else can we... Box? Class differences in crime, all good, but let's think of specific, a little bit more specific than class differences in crime. Sutherland. This one might give it away a little bit. Yeah, we're getting there. Darcy, that's a good response. It's not subcultures, I'm afraid. It's not social construction of crime. Let's reveal our fifth one. Tombs. Steve Tombs. Corporate crime we're coming through with. Can we reveal the answer there, please? It is corporate crime. Well done there. And we would apply strain theory because of things like the way in which they're with innovation. Innovation can be seen as a cause of corporate crime. Thank you. I'll pass you back over to Duncan now for our penultimate round.
Okay, so we've just got a few of these. These are some word ones here, some key terms that you should be aware of in the topics that we've been looking at today. But we've switched the vowels round, so just see how fast you can get the vowels. If you're watching on catch up, you can also define the terms. But for now, we're going to see, can you get them? Quick fire. What do you think this is? So we've swapped the vowels. All the vowels have been changed for other vowels. Pisatavast. I've got to be careful how I say that. Pisatavast victimology. What do we reckon? Positivist victimology. Exactly. It's come straight in there. Well done. Yeah, positivist victimology. Well done. If you do know what it means, feel free to type it into the chat window. But we're going to keep going. Okay, next one. Sikail Kinstroctain if Vactamheed.
You sounded very Eastern European today, Don.
I thought it sounded sort of vaguely Welsh, but I was. We'll get letters about that there probably. What do we think? Any ideas? Might be in a similar sort of territory. The last one. Oh, well done, Darcy and Emily.
There we go.
Social construction. Well, nearly there. Social construction of what? Victimhood. Yeah, lots of you getting very close to that one. Yeah, social construction of victimhood. And just a couple more of these. Anthropocentric. Anthropocentric. I'm going to give you a clue. Think maybe to do with green crime. It is also a town in North. No, it's not. It's not a town in North Wales. It's think to do with green crime.
With an A.
It would. Yeah, that's a good clue. It would normally begin with an A. Anyone got it? Oh, well done. Yes, anthropocentric. Yeah, well done. A few people coming in with that one now. So centered around humans rather than perhaps centered around the ecosystem or whatever. Okay, and the last one of these, and I reckon you'll get this one pretty fast. Dovaency amplification. Any ideas? Deviancy amplification. Well done. Very quick there. Quick off the mark there. Quick typers. Very good. Again, if you want to define it, you can type it in the chat window. But I'm going to hand back to Craig for the final activity of this session.
Yep, and this is a very quick categorise activity because I've got a geographer tapping on my shoulder at the moment. So what I want you to do is divide these eight concepts that are on the right hand side into two different categories: environmental crime prevention or situational crime prevention. So you've got eight concepts, and you have two categories to organize them into. What I would suggest is sort of like if you put, say, for example, ECP as environmental crime prevention, and then the numbers in the chat box, or SCP in the right-hand side, in the right-hand side chat box, and then the numbers after SCP for situal crime prevention. We've got 60 seconds to do this. If we start now, please, Jim. Oh, there's the music.
Yeah, very dramatic movement. Yeah, you could just go with one category to start with if you like.
Yeah. Go with one category, and if you've got time, do the seconds.
Yeah, 60 seconds goes pretty fast. Any suggestions?
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
There were some good responses in there, but I couldn't hear it over the music. I couldn't kind of speak over the music. Imagine if you had to have that music in your exam, sort of like as sort of like as you're writing an answer.
The last 60 seconds that starts up. Yeah, your example.
Last 60 seconds. Okay, so let's split those up. I can see Shannon, you've got some good responses there. Louise, you've got some responses. Louise, as you've just I don't know which ones you've put on which, but environmental crime prevention is based on broken windows theory and does involve zero tolerance policing. It leads to the renovation of undesirable areas. Some people would sort of like suggest like it leads to things like gentrification as well, and it tackles the visible signs of crime. So the environmental crime prevention and does that. Our situational crime prevention is based upon rational choice theory about reducing the opportunities for crime, and this includes designing out of features of crime within city centres. So things like the use of alarms, CCTV, security lighting, and its aim is to remove the opportunities to commit crime, which some people sort of like suggest leads to either temporal or spatial displacement, moving the crime to another time of day or moving it to another area of the town. Whew, we got in there. We did it. We well done. There were some fantastic responses in there.
Yeah.
And I think we'll go back to Jim in the studio.
Yeah, here in the studio, I'm just trying to I'm going to, as soon as this is finished, I'm going to go right back to the replay and listen to Duncan reading out those altered vowels again. It was fantastic. There's definitely a clip we can make with some of those. But I mean, you've covered so much in that session. Fantastic stuff. So many studies, concepts, some very specialist terminology. So hopefully really useful for anyone who's got a crime and deviance assessment in the next day or two, or perhaps for most people. Beyond Easter there. Superb responses. Really good stuff.
Really good. Yeah, really good.
So
Great
it's
stuff.
Easter, so we disappear for 3 weeks to eat chocolates. Is that the plan, Duncan, or do you think we might be able to squeeze in some more sessions?
We're going to squeeze in some more sessions. So we're going to move to a morning session during the Easter holidays. Now, you might have not everyone's got the same Easter holiday, so we're sort of working on a 3-week Easter. And we're going to be doing some in the mornings. We'll make sure we publicise exactly when and what in the usual places. Not too early. These are sociology students. We'll make sure you've had a chance to have your breakfast and watch this morning or whatever. And so we'll still be here over the next few weeks.
Best thing to do, of course, if you like this session, please click that thumbs up to make Duncan and Craig both particularly happy, but also significantly richer because they get paid on a per thumbs up basis. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get an alert as soon as we get those Easter sessions lined up. You'll get an alert, and also if you go to tutortu.net/live, you can go back and see not just this, but the previous 8 AQA A-Level Sociology sessions and download the PowerPoints if you wish as well. If that's useful, if you've got some revision to do, hopefully not too much, but if you've got some revision to do over Easter, you might find that a useful thing as well. So fantastic. Huge thanks, as always, to Craig and Duncan for putting a fantastic session together. And
just looking at, sorry,
Craig,
going to say about Kate's comment about media. That's certainly one that we could look at doing. I think we were going to do a global development one as well, weren't we, Duncan?
Yeah. So we'll look at some of the topics over Easter, possibly not necessarily the most common ones. Make sure we include some of you who don't do families and beliefs. Okay. Yeah.
No, fantastic. Awesome stuff. Right, geography are knocking at the door. So if you're doing AQA geography, hang around because they're next. Psychology at 6:30. Not that we should be promoting other subjects, Duncan and Craig, but I'm sure they promote sociology.
Yes, we should.
I'm sure they do.
Superb. Thanks for joining us.
I've got one of those surveyor things though.
We'll catch you next time. And if you watch on replay, thanks very much for finding the video. Take a look at all the other stuff we've done as well. So for now, let's say see you later.
Cheerio.
See you soon. Bye.